The Strange Talk with Doc. It's been a couple of weeks. I went out to Las Vegas. I was out there for 7 days. We're going to get into that trip. I'm going to tell you honest, non sponsored. I'm not trying to sell you any bullshit reports. There are a lot of people who do YouTube videos. And by the end of this video, you'll know the difference between a person who does a YouTube video honestly as a tourist or a person that is being sponsored or brought out by the corporations because they don't have the right to talk bad about the people who are sponsoring them. That's how you know who your ruler is, how you could speak about them. If you must only speak about them in positive manners, even when there's some negativity, then that means they have rule and power over you. I paid for everything I did, so I am free to speak about everything that I experienced, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. And if you want to wait for that portion of the show, just give me 5 minutes. You could fast forward 5 minutes, and by then I'll be done talking about the other things that I would like to discuss real briefly. Okay. So I will be back with my Las Vegas 2022 non sponsored, no sellout report trip in just a minute. So Jackson, Mississippi is dealing with a water crisis. I'm hoping that the federal government handles this a lot better than they handled Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan's water crisis went on way too long. These are human beings. We need to help them. We need to make sure that they have clean water, water to bathe in, water to use, to cook, to wash their clothes, make sure the animals, I know there's a lot of animal lovers out there, so the animals don't get also sick by drinking bad water. I'm wishing Jackson, Mississippi the very best in this situation. You only can hope for the best because the best does not always happen. We're sending billions of dollars to other countries, but we don't take care of home. Charity is supposed to begin at home. Isn't that true? WWE had a clash at the castle. This was in Carthage, Wales. I thought it was a pretty outstanding show. I thought everybody brought the A game for the most part. The only match that I would say that I did not really like was the Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Oscar versus Bailey, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. I didn't really like that match. I would like to see those six people get away from each other. I don't like the cartoon character they made Bianca into. The UFC also had a fight night. Cyril Gage versus Tua Tagovailoa. That was a very good fight. As you know by now, Gage knocked out Tagovailoa, but it was a very interesting fight. Robert Whitaker looked very good versus Marvin Vettori. Joaquin Buckley, I didn't understand his lack of aggression, but you know what? He's been a roller coaster. He's been spectacular, and then other fights he's been lackluster. So we'll see what goes on with him. Now next week, 9-10, back in Las Vegas, you got Chessmith versus Diaz. Nate Diaz is fighting, but I believe he's being fed to the wolves on this. Kazmet Chimaev should beat him handily, but we'll see what Nate does. But pretty much Nate has a script that he runs by. He gets cut, he wipes some blood on himself, his mouth. He waves you over. He doesn't do a lot of movement. He'll be tougher than he'll be a better fighter. So I have no hopes at all of him winning this fight. Johnny Walker's also fighting Ion Cupolera. And Irene Aldana is fighting Macy Chestone on this card. The NFL returns this week, people. The NFL season comes back Thursday. And the first game of the season is going to be the Buffalo Bills versus the world champion, Super Bowl champion Rams. This is Thursday. We have a regular schedule Sunday. We're going to have late games. I believe the Bucks are playing my Cowboys Sunday night late game. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about. And now let's go on to Las Vegas. First things first about Las Vegas. This is just for me. This might not appeal to you, but this is me. I don't care anything about Sahara. I don't care anything about the Tropicana. I don't go into MGM often because it's big, it's cavernous. I always found it to be a boring hotel. Park MGM, I don't go in. I think that any hotel that tells people that they don't have the right to be adults and smoke, I'm not with it. You want to be smoke free? Even non-smokers don't. Being told, as opposed to having an area, I don't like that policy. I also don't go into the stratosphere, Oyo, Lexa, Mandalay Bay. I went into Resorts World last year. I was underimpressed, underwhelmed. I didn't like it. Excalibur is a garbage hotel. You get bothered by those timeshares, so I don't go there. I found that the area around the Hawaiian Village Marketplace was highly depressing because everything over there is closed. I mean, I've seen very few YouTubers who do Vegas vlogs who actually has taken 5 minutes time out of their vlog to go over there and show the conditions, because it's not only is the place closed down and it looks like a blight right now, but this is also an area where homeless congregate now. It's right in front of Polo Towers. There is absolutely positively nothing open over there. These were mainstays for many years. People used to go over there. And I am talking about far enough back where the McDonald's used to be there and that Fat Burger didn't used to be there. Actually, there was even a club back there where Wolf and Walensky used to be. There was a cigar bar there. I mean, so a lot has changed. Hopefully, they will build something decent in that Hawaiian Village Marketplace area. I won a big bet on Rory McIlroy winning the FedEx Cup. So that was exciting to me. Every year we seemed to bet golf while we were there. The heat was oppressive. I mean, we were talking 107, 106. It was 90 sometimes at night. But you know what? You go to Vegas, that's a part of the situation. You could be a night person there. You could be a day person. It's all on you. I went down to Fremont Street. Fremont Street, the vloggers, the YouTubers need to be a little bit more honest about that. Not only do you have to go through the checkpoint, but each hotel then requires you to also show ID to enter their building or casino, whatever you want to call it, building, hotel, casino. So you feel like you're constantly being cattle caught. Not only that, they now have designated exits, designated entrances, and on top of it, Fremont Street's LCD screen doesn't go off every hour. So if you got a person that's down there all the time shooting and they make it seem like everything is normal, it's not. The bands are off stage by 1 o'clock, and I was there on a Saturday night. Two of the bands the stages were completely shut down and gated by 1 p.m. on a Saturday. That's not normal procedure. But see, this is something that nobody on YouTube will tell you. They make it seem like everything is up to, normal, and it's not normal. The stores on Fremont Street are closed. You can't go in there and get water. I mean, it's like it shuts down at 1 o'clock, and I don't remember any time other than pandemic time that Fremont Street really shut down. Now, I always enjoy Hennessy's. I ate at Hennessy's. The food was up to its normal, basic, good standards. I had no problem with that. There was a club next door. They were banging music. I did not go on Circa this time. I didn't even bother with Circa. I went into the Golden Nugget. I went into Binion's. I went into a couple other places. I did a little gambling, sat at the bar, talked some shit, had a good time. Now, I'm not saying that Fremont Street is not enjoyable, but it is a cattle car. You are going to be pushed through gates, and leaving, you're going to have to come through these detectors and things of that nature. There was no issues, no problems. I didn't think that it was over flooded with street performers. In some years, I believe that it is. This year, I didn't feel that way. So I have no problem whatsoever with Fremont Street, other than the fact that I have been on Fremont Street 4 a.m. and it was still jumping. But this time, other than Zoe Bowie, who I thought was going to be a shit show, and I have to apologize to Zoe Bowie. Zoe Bowie actually brought some enthusiasm. He has some energy. It was a very entertaining show. He was performing with this young lady named Julia, I believe her name was. And I thought that they brought the fun. Matter of fact, forget that. It's not Julia. Her name was Jamie Lynch. So it was Zoe Bowie and Jamie Lynch. And on top of it, I think that they did a very good job with the screen. When they did finally play it, which was about 12 o'clock or maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, the graphics on the screen above, say the Fremont Street Experience laser show, was outstanding. I'm going to give them that. It was outstanding. So now let's deal with some other places. Caesar Palace. I love going inside Caesar's Palace because it's a beauty to the eye to behold. The daytime sky all day. So I went in the evening because I wanted to check out this Urban Essentials, the sneaker store that everybody's been raving about online. And I found that to be very underwhelming also. I thought it was garbage. A lot of it's just a huge sneaker store. They have a barber shop that nobody was getting their hair cut. They had a snack bar that nobody was buying snacks. They had a tattoo parlor that nobody was getting tattoos. So when these people show you all this shit, maybe those are marks. Maybe those are people who are plants. Because who is going into a sneaker store to really get their hair cut? I mean, you're going to maybe find what you're looking for. I mean, I asked about some Jordans, and the guy at the gate or the door, he had to look on his phone to figure it out. Now, if I worked in a store, I would know every fucking thing that's in my store. That's just me. That's just how I conduct myself. But he had to look it up online. I could have did that on my phone myself. And they did have what I was looking for, but I didn't like the price. I don't know if it was a Vegas price or whatever, because the same sneakers that they had there, I brought them for $150 less somewhere else. Casino Royale is Casino Royale, people. You know exactly what you get there. I think that they updated some games there. I had a good time. I always win a couple of dollars. My wife won a couple of dollars there. So I have no problems with that. It just was very warm in there. See, that's going to be a theme. A lot of these hotels did not seem like they were pumping the AC properly. I didn't think the Caesar's Palace AC was very good. Casino Royale's AC was horrible. Flamingos was disgusting. It was like almost being outside. And we are talking about it was a 102-degree day and it didn't feel much cooler inside. And I was sleeveless. Now, Harris, which used to be one of my favorite spots to visit while I was in town, Carnival Court, if you do not know, let me tell you again, Carnival Court, Monday through Wednesday, has no live music, zero live music during the day, Monday through Wednesday. And also, Carnival Court does not open till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, would you leave where you're hanging out at, having a good time, just to go to Carnival Court, which does not open till 4 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday? If you're in town those days, you would probably stay where you are. I don't understand what Harrah's is doing with Carnival Court. This used to be a jumping place for day drinkers. You didn't even care that you were seeing the same Whippets band that you seen all the way in 2010 or something like that, because it seems that they're on repeat. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the Whippets, Original Chaos. It's the same shit over and over out of a Carnival Court. But it was always enjoyable to go over there and see Whippy do his flair bartending. Awesome, and those Charlie and those type of guys. And Adam, who I've known since the 90s, he was a bartender there at night. I don't even know if he's still around, but Adam was one of the original bartenders that I actually remember from Las Vegas, and I'm talking about to the 90s. For some reason or another, there were a lot of flies on the Las Vegas Strip. This could be due to the fact that I was in town a week after the flood. I don't know if the flood opened up eggs that were laying in the mud or what have you, but there were flies, and I mean everywhere, even places that was near food. And this is not something that I'm normally used to seeing in Las Vegas, but tons of flies and tons of homeless. There are homeless everywhere on the Las Vegas Strip. And I'm talking about from Venetian all the way down to Walgreens that's across the street from Park MGM. They're just everywhere. I don't know if they're drug addicts or what they are. I went into TI, just went in there to use their CVS because I needed some water. I'm not a big fan of TI. But I also went into the fashion show mall. The fashion show mall is all right. You might be able to find some things that you need in there, but it's much bigger than it used to be. I don't go in there every year. Usually I go to one of the outlets, the north or the south. This year I decided to go into the fashion show mall. I thought it was all right. I mean, I was looking for some things and it was very hard to find. Uh, they have Dillard's in there, they have Macy's. The Macy's men's section only have, just in case you do not know, the Macy's men's section only has upper level stuff. Like you can't go in there and find Jockey or Fruit of Looms. You have to be looking for Tommy or Monty underwears and t-shirts. If you're not looking for something like that, you might be better off going to like Dillard's or whatever a lower brand store is considered there. The Flamingo Hotel was very dark. And like I said before, and I want to say it again, the AC was horrendous, horrible. Now, what I will give them credit for was the nature reserve habitat is back in business. It looked beautiful. The flamingos looked beautiful. The fish looked good. The water was clean. I mean, I went there a year ago. It was one of the saddest sights. The flamingos didn't have any pink in them. They looked exhausted. I mean, the birds were scarce. The water was dirty. This year, I'm gonna say everything was like back to normal. This was back to an A standard for the habitat. But while we were in the flamingo, we had one of the most horrifying things that has ever happened to us. And I've been going to Vegas since 1996. So that is 26, 27 years I've been going to Vegas. Sometimes twice a year I've been going to Vegas. There was a missing child who was maybe 10 feet away from us who was screaming at the top of his lungs in horror for his mama. And his mother was nowhere to be found. Lucky enough, we got in contact with security, and this child was relocated back to his father. I mean, it was, like I said, this was a big, huge downer to see a child in that kind of pain, not knowing. I guess when you're a kid and you get disconnected from your parents, or you don't know if you're ever going to see them again in this big, scary, loud place called Las Vegas. This child, and we watched a lot of people who lacked humanity just walk by this kid. Now I understand you can touch him, but you could say, you know what? We are going to make sure that we find your mother, or we're going to find your father. The kid didn't speak very little English at all. So it was hard for me to get him to tell me where he came from, where they were located. But security did a good job, and I praise you, Flamingo, for getting this child back in the arms of his father and making sure that his father was who he said he was. So that way we were able to move on with the rest of our day. Now, here's another one that's kind of tricky for me. We went over to Paris. Paris is a very dark place. They make it seem, I just seen a YouTube video where a guy was filming the restaurant inside Paris on the casino floor, and he made it seem like this thing was lit up and lighted and beautiful. You go in Paris, it's a pretty dark place. It is not very bright inside Paris casino. And you know what? Once you've been in Paris, you've been in Paris. I did some gambling there. I won a couple of dollars. I was happy and I left and I never went back. Planet Hollywood is Planet Hollywood, people. It is what it is. It depends on what door you go through. And especially if you are a person of color, you will be harassed by their salespeople. Inside, going through the front door, you're going to be harassed by them as soon as you enter the front door. I would say that Planet Hollywood has a vibe. It does have energy. I will give it that. We went there several times. Matter of fact, I ate at Planet Hollywood not one night, but two nights. So I'm not anti-Planet Hollywood other than the salespeople. I mean, the salespeople in the bars. I found the bars at Planet Hollywood to be the most expensive bars in the entire strip. Now, I heard that Wynn's bars are more expensive, but Planet Hollywood's bars were more expensive than the Venetian's bar. It was more expensive than Palazzo's bars. And I didn't even understand that. And on top of it, they want to charge you for the little nip bottles of water, $5 to $8, which is outlandish. Now, the hotel that I stayed at is New York, New York. And the reason that I stay at Hotel New York, New York Casino and Hotel is because not only do they have a party Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, I'm going to repeat that. A party Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every night from 10 to at least 2 a.m., which is free to be in. You can dress any way you want. It's attached to the CENTERBAR, which I love the CENTERBAR. And I'm not even an alcohol drinker, but I hang out because that's where the vibe is. That's where you can get your dance on. That's what, my wife wants to have a couple of drinks and bust a move, and that's what we do. So, and on top of that, you got Gonzales y Gonzalez, which is Latin. You got Coyote Ugly for whatever's going on over there. You got Nine Fine Irishmen, if you want to listen to that. If you want to do the Times Square Bar, you got those sing-along. So everywhere you go in there is a vibe, it's energy, it's a beautiful feeling to, be in New York, New York. 10 o'clock in the morning, the place is already jumping. You're never in there feeling like you're in some tomb. Some of these casinos you go in, you feel like, where are the people? Where's the excitement? Where's the joy? Where's the energy? You never get that vibe in New York, New York. New York, New York is almost like being in New York. There's always energy from morning, noon through late night. You're going to get that. And besides, like I said, one of the reasons I do stay there is America's Restaurant. This joint is open 24/7. I take some weird ass hours while I'm in Vegas. Sometimes I'm hungry at 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And I could always get a meal without sweating it. Some other hotels, and like I said, I've been staying in Vegas since 96. So staying in Vegas in 96, I maybe stayed at 14, 15 different hotels. And sometimes the problem was a meal. Some of the biggest problems me and my wife have had in Vegas was actually getting a meal at weird hours of the night. And I don't travel across the country from the East Coast to the West Coast to eat fucking McDonald's, to eat Popeyes, to eat Chipotle's. That's not me. I'm not doing that. I can do that shit at home. I'm looking for something a little bit better, something freshly cooked at least. So you never have to sweat getting a meal at America. You never, if you want some fried fish, they got a fish place, they got pizza shops, they got Nathan's upstairs. They have Chins, they have a steakhouse, they have an Italian restaurant. So you really don't have an issue no time of day getting something to eat. Now, the Venetian, I love. The Venetian is a beautiful place. I like going to the Venetian. Now, what I don't like is when you come through that second floor entrance, this is another place that they allow these timeshares to harass the hell out of you. So it kind of sucks as far as I'm concerned. As a matter of fact, I wanted to give a shout out to some people who took care of us over at America's Diner. That would be Crystal, Star, Giovanni, and Pam. These people are people who have known and seen my face over the last 5, 6, 7 years. And they take care of me. And not only that, they always make me feel like I'm welcome when I come in there. Not only are they service, but they're good service. And I don't mind tipping them. I don't mind sitting there talking to them late at night. It helps the day go by. The CENTERBAR, like I said, is a great place. We talked about Planet Hollywood. Now, at Planet Hollywood, I ate at Jen's Korean Barbecue. Me and my wife ate dinner at Jen's Korean Barbecue. Now, if you do not want to do the meat section where you do the Korean barbecue style cooking at your table, because one, I had things to do that night. I damn sure didn't want to smell like smoke. They will allow you to sit at the bar in the back and you just pay for all you can eat sushi, which is what I came for. I came for the sushi, not the cooking of the beef. I don't give a damn about any of that bullshit. That ain't me. And so I say it's a winner. I think it was like $25 a person, which is not bad. Trust me, I ate more than my share of sushi. I made up for that $25. My wife made up for her $25. She enjoyed everything that she had but the taco. She did not like that pulled pork taco, but the sushi itself, like the dragon, I think there was a dragon one and a supreme salmon roll. Those were both outstanding. I also went back and ate there at Yolo's. Yolo's was very good, man. We were looking for a place to have burritos. Burritos seem to take a back seat to tacos in Vegas. Taco places get high praise, but nobody ever talks about a place that you can go get a burrito. If you're looking for a burrito, and I'm not talking like one that looks like a little hot pocket, this is a full-size burrito that fills up a plate and will fill up a grown man's belly. Go over to Yolo's. It wasn't that expensive. I think for two people, we might have paid $45 or something. So I don't think that's bad. We ran into some insane traffic. They had a Saturday night. We was at Planet Hollywood. I believe that was the night that we actually went to Jen's Korean barbecue. So you had Shania Twain concert was letting out. And you also had Chris Brown and Little Baby's concert being let out at T-Mobile. So the strip traffic was outlandish. If you find out that there's big events going on in town, I wouldn't even suggest a Uber. If you got to go somewhere, if it's in walking distance, you'd be better off putting on your walking shoes and walking, because you could sit in traffic or you can wait for a cab or Uber, because it was a madhouse underneath Planet Hollywood's car area, pickup area. I mean, it was a madhouse. We are talking a line for the taxi had to be 200 to 300 deep. People from the Uber was jumping on the taxi line because nobody knew where to go. People were just standing in the street. I'm lucky that nobody actually got hit by a car. Now, Friday night, I'm at New York, and I'm playing this game called the Supreme Treasure Bowl. We're not playing this at no high stakes. We're not playing this at the max. We're playing this at $1.60 just to have fun. This machine called me over. I know that sounds insane. The machine called me over. Maybe it was the graphics or whatever. I sat at this machine. We got up maybe $70, $80. And so we say, you know what? We're not the type to take $70, $80 and run. We give ourselves a point to try to go back to the money that we originally put in the machine. So I think we put $40 originally in the machine and said, okay, we'll play it down to, the $40. This way we take those 40 and use it on another machine. I know you're sticking with me here, right? So long story short, we get down to about $55 and nothing happens, but the dragon starts moving. Now, he doesn't give me those spins. If you ever seen this machine, what the dragon does is this thing circles and it gives you balls, anywhere from 3 to 8 balls. This thing landed on the block that said no balls, but for some reason it moved over to the 3 balls. So you could press this button that says open all. I press open all and we see grand prize pop up. We say to ourselves, no way. I've been going to this town since 96. This is 2 of us going to this town since 96. We have never got a hand pay. We have never received a hand pay. My biggest win in Vegas up to this point might have been $400, $500, somewhere around there. I mean, I won 3s a lot of times, 2s a lot of times, but I have never even won 800 or 900. Well, what we won was $10,271.63 on a $1.60 bet. So you can go to Vegas and hit a jackpot if it's meant for you, and you do not have to be playing maximum bet. You do not have to be spending $7, $8 a spin. I mean, this was truly amazing. This is something I still don't believe till today. We just got back. Think about it. I was in town from 8/24 to 8/31. So I got back Thursday, which was basically the first because we took a red eye. So I haven't even been home a solid week. $10,271.63 on a $1.60 bet. So don't let anybody tell you that you cannot hit if you just super lucky. You can do it. There are jackpots. Just watch the machines, read the rules. If it says that you only can get to the progressive on max bet, maybe if you're a low roller, don't play that game. There are enough link games. There are enough other games in town that allow you a chance at the grand prize for the minimum bet. And I believe on this Supreme Treasure Ball, $1.60 was the minimum bet. And we just got supremely lucky. We won other monies, other places too. So it was a beautiful thing. For some reason or another this year, I became the Vegas cameraman. I took more pictures of selfies for other people than I've ever done in 1 year than I've done in my 26 years of going combined. It's not a bad thing. I think you're helping other people out. They want to get their whole family in a picture. And sometimes I actually offer. I try to be a nice person. I see that there's a family and dad can't be in the picture because he's the one taking the picture. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be human here and say, you know what? Get your ass in there. I'll take the picture with the whole family. And you know what I do? I like to take 3 pictures so that if any one of the pictures don't look too good, there's no way in the world I'm going to screw up 3. Right? So we talked about Zoe Bowen. We talked about Fremont Street Cattle Drive and Hennessy's Bar. Now, I also went into Cosmo. Cosmo is a beautiful place. I won some money there. But the air freshener inside Cosmo was brutal. It was so damn strong. I'm going to say it's very strong in Cosmo and it's very strong in Mirage. And another thing about Mirage, that, what do you call it? The volcano only goes off like 4 times a day, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and 12 p.m. So my math is bad. That's 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we were there around 7 o'clock. So we didn't actually get to see the volcano go off. But if you're going to be there and you want to see it while it's still there, just remember the times. It's on the hour starting at 8. Each hour on the hour starting at 8 o'clock. But I've seen the volcano 30 times, so it was no big deal. It's just like the fountains at Bellagio. Now, what I'd always do when I'm in Bellagio was I always go to the conservatory. I enjoy the conservatory. This year they had some kind of monkey, lion, king scene. I mean, I have videos and stuff. Maybe I'll put some of those videos up on my YouTube, but if you've been there, you've seen it. I prefer to go at night. I think that the displays look a lot better at night. And if you're in town or listening to this and heading to Vegas within the next week or so, I believe the conservatory is going to be closed while they put the full display in. Matter of fact, one time last year when I was there, they were in the middle of changing from one to the next. And I already told you that YOLO's was good. The prices was great. We had a really good guy there named Felipe. He was a good server. I went over to the Orleans. The Orleans bounced back big time. I won some money there. Big Al's Oysters last year seemed to be struggling. Now, okay, they didn't have any clams, and I don't know why they didn't have clams, but they did have oysters. I'm not a big oyster fan. I'm a clam guy. But the soup was better than it was last year. The bread was better than it was last year. The crab cakes were better than they were last year. So I'm going to give a big up to Big Al's Oyster House because as far as I'm concerned, for the money that we spent there, and besides, the meal was pretty much free, and the shrimp cocktail was fresh as hell because I won enough money to actually pay for the dinner that we ate. Now, one thing that you must look out for while you're in Vegas, this is like a new phenomenon that I've never experienced before while I was there. These gypsy type people who will walk by you, they won't say a word, but they'll hold their hand out with a handful of jewelry to see if they can entice you to buy this bullshit. So just keep your eyes open for them. Now, I mean, and I've seen them at multiple hotels. I've seen them at Planet Hollywood. I've seen them at Mirage. I've seen them at New York. I've seen them at Cosmo. And like I said, they won't even say a word. They'll just walk by you while you're playing a game, hold their hand out, and they'll have like a bunch of chains, rings, and bracelets in their hand, and they're trying to entice you to buy this jewelry. And you know what? All I do is wave my finger. I don't even get involved in conversation because when you have people like this, you don't want them too close to you. You don't want them to brush up against you, and you don't want them to be used as any detract. You know, you don't want that person to detract you so that the real thief can bump up on you. You know, because me and my wife had an incident in New York, New York. This was crazy. We went and cashed in a ticket at one of the ticket exchange. A lady comes behind us. She goes to the same ticket thing. She drops money. I guess she puts a card in. She's got no fucking money in her bank. And then she starts screaming, I'm going to call security on y'all. Y'all took my money. Now, this set my wife off. It set her off big time. So I said, you want to call security? I got a trick for you. Come follow me, bitch. I'll take you directly to security. Damn, excuse me. So I take her to security. I say, listen, dude, I just cashed in a ticket. You got this fucking lunatic woman who's following us around claiming that I took her money out of the machine. So he looks at her stub and he sees that she really doesn't have anything on her deposit, but that she needs to go to the cage if she needs money. So he directed her to the cage, or he escorted her out the building. You know what? I ain't nobody's chump. I ain't no punk. Nobody plays me. But sometimes in order to move on in life, in situations like that, it's best to get the security in the building involved, especially if you've seen him on the floor. Because this dude was standing right next to the center bar, so I knew where he was, and I told her, follow me. We'll both go to security and straighten this out because I don't want to have to deal with you and your bullshit before this gets violent. You know, so like I said, watch out for the scammers. Keep your eye on the scammers. Be smart. The same shit that you would do at home. The same exact thing that you would do at home to protect yourself. Do in Vegas. Be smart. Just be smart. Be wise. Don't let nobody get too close up into your space because you don't know how good their hands are at lifting things. So if I kept my distance at home, I keep my distance on the road. That's just me. Now, LAS, the airport. You would think that Las Vegas would have the most modern airport there is. No, we flew out of Raleigh. They had the complete, what I'm going to call the MRI style bag checks. So that means you didn't even have to take your laptops or tablets out of your bags. LAS is still running with the X-ray style. So just know that when you're in LAS, you're going to have to remove your tablet and things like that from your carry-on bag because they don't have those MRI ones where they can see everything. It's a much slower moving process. RDU's bing, bang, boom. Even though we had a red eye, so it wasn't very long to get through the security check. There was really not a lot of people leaving on a Tuesday night heading back to the East Coast. So we didn't have a problem. But I want to give a big shout out to a young man that I met at the airport. His name is Ryan Reeves. This dude is a National Hockey League player. I don't know a lot of history on him. I looked him up. He plays for the Rangers now. I believe he actually played for the Las Vegas team. He's played for a couple of teams. And I noticed this big, light-skinned black male holding a hockey bag. So I just asked him, hey, man, do you play hockey? And he was like, yeah, I play hockey. I play hockey for the Rangers. I'm heading to New York now. And he didn't highbrow me. He treated me like a human being. He didn't act all celebrity and shitty. And so I appreciate Ryan. And I wish him, I'm not a Rangers fan. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm an Islanders fan. But I'm going to wish him and the Rangers nothing but luck this year just because the dude was being so fucking nice and he didn't have to. It wasn't like I was going out of my way to bother him. That's not what I do to strangers. But he engaged me and my wife in conversation like a human being. And anytime somebody engages you in conversation and treats you with respect, There's something to be said for that in this day and age. Unfortunately, in 2022, if anybody has any status on the world, they big time you. They big time you, even if you don't even know who the fuck they are. They big time you. But this dude was like down to earth, and I appreciate that. And reading up on him and his family, it seems to be, and I don't know if this is an internet rumor or not, that his relative is Bass Reeves, who is a cowboy legend, one of the baddest asses who ever lived in the Wild Wild West, and he happened to be a black marshal. And if that's a part of his lineage, and Ryan is also considered a badass in the NHL, then he gets it honestly. Now, I thank you for listening to me. Don't be fooled, and don't let other people's experiences in Vegas tell you what that place is or is not. You have to make up that decision for yourself, because if you listen to somebody's YouTube and they find nothing wrong, everything is perfect, everything just was so beautiful all the time, and everything that they did, they are more than likely sponsored by some corporation in Las Vegas, and they're not giving you an honest review. They're not giving you an honest assessment. They're not even being human with you. You're nothing but a viewer. And a lot of them, I know this to be true because, and you know all the big timers, because think about it. I have actually made comments on a lot of their links, the comment sections of their YouTube, and they won't even respond to you. Unless you're saying something kiss assy to them, like you're the greatest of all times. Oh my God, I love you. Or here's $20, because that's another thing. And I did a show on that. I am so anti you taking your hard-earned money and putting it in the pocket of somebody who is doing something to build up a lifestyle that has nothing to do with you. If they are a slot player in Vegas, let them pay for their fucking slots. Why are you paying for their slots? When they win, do you benefit? Other than the fact that you seeing somebody win a slot play? No, you benefit not. Don't pay pal. Don't give a dime to any of them. They want to eat a meal, they're going to get full off that meal. You're still going to be hungry. You're still going to have to cook. Who's giving you the $25, $100 to put in your belly for a meal? That money is better spent on the homeless, the less fortunate, not somebody that's trying to make a video or eat at a buffet in Vegas. It's not right. It's not right that you not only view. When you view, you're already helping them get paid. So now why should you also pay? Do you send $100 to your favorite TV show when you watch it? Probably not. When you watch a game on TV, after paying your cable bill, do you send additional money to LeBron? Or when you like, no, you don't. I know you don't. So stop it. Just look for honest. Look for people. There are normal, regular people who go to this town all the time. Look for them. Give them the credit. Give them the view. Okay? And I'm going to be back next Monday with a whole new show. And we're going to deal with some serious topics. We're going to get back to our normal, basic, strange talk with Doc. If you like the show, comment. Send me an email. Send me a text. It's all right. I positive or negative, it really does not bother me. I just like to know that somebody's out there, somebody's listening, somebody's engaging with me, and maybe you have a suggestion or something I forgot, a question that I might be able to answer since I still have Vegas so freshly on my mind. And I'm sure I didn't go into detail about everything that I experienced, but I did talk about enough stuff, I believe. And I'm going to tell you, like I tell you all the time, people, until we speak again, peace to you and peace to yours.